morning. How's your weekend?
It was good. What about you?
All right.
I like your new background.
I got a new computer, so I'm playing with stuff. If anything does not work, let me know if you guys can't hear me. My laptop was dying. All right. Oh, Kaylee had a good weekend. That's good. Did you do something fun, Kaylee, or did you just chill? Dogs. Dogs are so cute. Our foster kittens are about ready to be interesting now. They're like playing, exploring. They're 6 weeks. Anyone have any questions over what we went over?
The sample questions are due today, right?
Explain what you're talking about. What questions? The quiz was due, well, I think it was due previously. Are you talking about for the assignment one, or what are we talking about? Oh, okay, for 280. Somebody's turned it in, so apparently it's visible. I haven't been in there to check. If you're having trouble finding it, I'll try to send everybody a link out. This is an assignment for a different class if you're not in 280. Okay, yeah, I know somebody put it in. So I'll send out a general email with a little bit more detail to help you find it. Lizzie, you got yours in? Okay, cool.
And that quiz, it said was due at 9:30 this morning.
Don't worry about it. It transferred over from my last class, so Lord only knows when it decided it was due, but it's not late as long as you get it in today by midnight.
I got it in last night because I didn't want to not have it, but it's turned in. I just wanted to let you know.
To grade this one, so it's going to show an automatic 0. Don't be concerned. I just have to grade it manually.
Oh, me and Reagan were already concerned. We seen a 0 and got freaked out, but it's okay.
If it's not ABC and that you have to answer, then I generally have to grade it before I'll give you points. I believe I have the research questions due tomorrow, but I will check that. When I send out my email, I'll clarify it. This is for ENG111 if you're in that class. Okay. Good question. Anybody else? Yes, Avery, the lab. All right. Yeah, I'm going to send out an email explaining how to find it. Let's finish talking about description. So just a little refresher, the elements that you want to think about. What's the main thing people ignore when they're writing a description? Anybody remember? Yeah, besides what they see, don't forget to use your other senses, right? So like smells and touch and taste if it's applicable, right? Sounds. So first rule of describing things, use all your senses, right? Whether that be invoking the senses in other people or helping them imagine. Okay. Now, we're going to look at a woman on the street here in a second, and we're going to look and see how she uses all of these elements in her description. So keep that in mind. For organization, I mean, organization is an element of every technique I'm going to talk about, right? So you can do it chronologically in order things happen. We talked about that for storytelling. For description, you can also do it spatially, right? You can do it top to bottom, left to right. Vice versa. You just have to have a method of organization because disorganized things fail to communicate because people don't want to take the time to read them. It's too much work. Okay? So organization is critical to all the things that we're talking about. So sensory information, clear organization, dominant impression. Okay. So if you want to make a negative point about a place, you emphasize the negative description. Doesn't mean you can't say anything positive. It just means the overall dominant feeling is going to be negative. Same thing if it's positive, and you know, you're going to pick up on the positive and emphasize it, just kind of like you did with selecting details and telling your story, right? You want to select the details that make your point. And figurative language. Now this tends to be more a feature of informal essays, but you'll probably still be writing those at different periods in different classes. So don't forget that it makes it more interesting for your reader and gives us kind of a window into your personality to see how you use your own unique figurative language. So you can replace cliches with your own unique figurative language. And what is figurative language? Some examples. The PowerPoint should be posted too under content on Brightspace. Come on, what were we talking about in the song? Everybody name one. Your favorite one? Metaphors? Some of the other ones we looked in the songs. Metaphor is a direct comparison, right? Between two things. Hyperbole, exaggeration for effect, right? Good. Personification. Simile, yeah, same thing. Comparison, only use the word like or as. Personification, giving human qualities to something that's not alive. Onomatopoeia, yes. Boom, clap. Snap. Snap, crackle, pop. They still do that in the Rice Krispie commercials. Rhetorical? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an intro technique that we talked about. All right. Idioms, right? What's alliteration? Peter Piper picked a pecker peppers. She sells seashells by the seashore. That song. Oh, in most songs, there's alliteration. What is apostrophe? Colson, what are they? One of them.
Wait, what did you say?
What is apostrophe or alliteration or paradox? Any of those?
I'm not for sure.
Okay, the PowerPoint has all of these, so you might want to review them before the final exam. Anybody, there's a lot of them, I know, it's hard to remember them all. Make sure, because these are great tools in your toolkit for being creative, making your writing more interesting, therefore giving a greater chance of being heard, received, and you are communicating. All right. So yes, all of these, use your senses, organize it logically, create a dominant impression, use figurative language. Okay. So let's look at how she does all of these things in her essay. This is actually the first section of her book. If you're interested, it's called The Glass Castle. It's an autobiography about her neglectful childhood with some unusual parents. So turned it into a movie. So let me share my screen here. And let's look. So this is about her childhood, but this is A Woman on the Street is the selection they put in our book, right, that you guys read. So if we look at these two opening paragraphs, where is she using sensory information? Everybody give me one example. Can you guys see it? Yeah, she sees her mom, right? And look at that, excellent word choice, right? Rooting through a dumpster, you know? So it doesn't even imply she's just looking in it. She's like really getting in there. Cheekbones. Let's see. Ah, there you go. The feeling of the blustery March wind. Yes, you can imagine it. You can feel it a little bit, right? Wind was whipping the steam coming out of the manholes. Can you see that? Yeah, it paints a really clear image. Probably every movie. I don't think I've ever been somewhere where I've actually seen in real life. I've seen it in the movies. Anybody been to New York during that time of year or another major city? The second to last sentence. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Or cheek. Oh, that's what you were talking about, cheekbones. Thank you, Kelly. I couldn't find it. She's got high cheekbones, but the skin is all basically weather beaten, parched, and ready from all those winters and summers exposed to the elements. Oh, that's true in St. Louis. Yeah. I guess I've been down there during that time. So think about that. Maybe not since I was little. Oh, sorry, Reagan. That's one place I've never been that I'd like to be. I've gotten to travel some, but I haven't really hit the East Coast any. Yeah. Good. You guys are doing a good job. So there's a lot of feel in this. You can feel the wind, you know. And notice she says her dog, a black and white mix, so we can kind of picture what kind of dog, what it looks like, right? Even the way she's like tilting her head and putting her lip out while she's looking at objects, you know, and when she finds something that she likes, the childish glee, right? It's just packed with interesting description and information. So yeah, her long hair was streaked with gray, tangled and matted. Her eyes had sunk deep into their sockets. That was worrisome. So we get this introduction to her mom, right? She obviously, she's in a taxi wondering if she's overdressed for the evening. So what does that signal about her status in society? What is her status? Do you know from this essay? What information does she give you? Sorry about that, Mary. Yes, the author. What is the author's status? If she's in a taxi wondering if she's overdressed, she hides when she sees her mom, she slid down the seat and asked the driver to take her home to Park Avenue. Yeah, if she's on Park Avenue, her family's got some money, or her husband, or she does, right? And then we get a clear picture of her mom, which is pretty much the opposite, right? And she doesn't say to you, right, that, you know, I have a lot of money and my mom is poor and homeless. Now, welcome back, Lizzie. How does she show it to you? What are the clues? There's some more. What are the clues in this paragraph right here? Yeah, she's obviously got high heels. She's a polished wood floor. Somebody polished it, right? And then her mom reads the dumpster, shows her status. Ah, yes, the doorman held the door for me. The elevator man took me up to my floor. These are signs of status, right, in our world. Sorry you're having trouble, Lizzie, if it keeps kicking you out. So, yes, keep that in mind that when you're writing a description, you think that Vivaldi is a sign of status? That's interesting. Tell me more. But yeah, Vivaldi's classical music. Is classical music associated with higher society? If it is, why? Well, why does it equal, right? Vivaldi's a composer. This is one of those things, if you didn't know, you could Google it in a couple seconds and find out quickly, and it's a societal assumption. Well, now classical music isn't like, we have pop music. It's called pop because it's popular, right? There are a few stations that play classical, but really you tend to have to go to school or, higher education to be more exposed to it, to the point where you like listening to it perhaps, or at least know who Vivaldi is, right? This is not universally true. We're going based on, a little bit stereotypes, but yes, to understand that kind of music, although I don't claim to understand it, but I very much like classical music. But welcome, all of you here who are in college. You are becoming part of the elite. Is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I think education is a good thing. Anybody taking like a music class? It is a good thing. I guess it depends on how you use your powers, my superhero friends. With great power comes great responsibility. Knowledge is power. Power corrupts. Study hard. Be evil. No, don't be evil. There's a T-shirt that says that. So now you get even more description. She looks around her room. There's turn of the century vases, vases, if you want to be fancy, old books with worn leather spines, Georgian maps she'd frame, Persian rugs, leather armchairs. And it all makes her feel guilty. All right? Why does she feel guilty? She has all this money and status. What about her parents? Yeah, they're looking through dumpsters, right? They're trying to keep warm and find something to eat. Did she just like abandon them and run away and hide? What do you think, Reagan? Did she just hide from them?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm having horrible Wi-Fi connection.
I'm sorry. Did she run away from her parents, or is she still in contact with them?
She ran away from them, right?
Well, that's actually in a manner of speaking, but she is still in contact with them. So it's kind of a trick question. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've read this book, but I was sitting here and I couldn't remember. I read it a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while when I assigned this. Yeah, Alicia, she basically says her parents don't want help from her, right? Or they ask for things that she thinks are frivolous, right? My mom would ask for something silly, like a perfume atomizer, a membership to a health club. Although the health club membership, like if they don't have a place to shower and change, which I understand is a big challenge if you're living on the street, that actually might be more useful than she thinks. She's clearly embarrassed by her parents, right? She hides from her mom. She feels guilty about her possessions. So she gets in touch with her mom, right? And they go to the restaurant. And again, we get the description that gives us sort of a feel for her mom and who she is. She said she'd made an effort to fix herself up. You know, she only had a few stains on, and she was wearing black leather men's shoes. She'd washed her face, but her neck and temples were still dark with grime. You still have the evocative description, right? Then we get to hear her talk. She's, you know, does she seem depressed or, you know, down on her luck? Cole, what do you think?
Can you repeat the question?
Does her mom seem depressed when they talk?
In my opinion, I think a little bit.
Oh yeah, why do you think?
Just in some of the words she uses when they have conversations.
Okay. She may be offended that her daughter's ashamed of her. All right. Now, her mom is not necessarily, we also get some clues to her mom's education level. Is she an uneducated person from the clues that she's dropping? So her mom starts talking about Picasso. She'd been to see a retrospective of his work and decided he was hugely overrated. I'm not a big Picasso fan either. A lot of geometric shapes. But, you know, I haven't really seen a lot of it. Maybe I would appreciate it if I did. Earlier, she talked about the mom who would like cliff dive and run around quoting Shakespeare. So what does that show you? Andre, what do you think?
Can you repeat the question?
Does her mom seem like an uneducated person?
No.
It seems like she knows things. I mean, we don't, know if she's gone to college in this little section. But she obviously is interested in art and literature, right? Enough to know who people are, famous artists and writers.
And not that this like correlates with anything, but I was kind of like surprised when she asked, not surprised, but I was kind of wild when she like asks, or when the author told us that she likes perfumes.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, that seems pretty cool to ask for when she's.
It's like a luxury item, right? It's like something that helps you appreciate life, maybe? I don't know. You guys tell me. I mean, I know not everybody likes perfume, but it is, I like aromatherapy stuff. My hand soap is not like normal hand soap. I like it to smell like pumpkin spice or weird stuff. But for me, that's like an added fixture, Definitely if I didn't have the money, I don't know if I'd be doing that. But her mom doesn't appear to have the money. And she's asking for things like, the perfume and the electrolysis. She tells her mom too, I saw you and I hid from you because I was embarrassed. I guess she's trying to get her mom to acknowledge that the way that she's living could potentially be embarrassing to her daughter. And what does her mom say? What'd she say, Avery? Did she apologize? Yeah, she says, that's what I'm saying. You're too easily embarrassed. Your father and I are who we are. Just accept it. Yeah. What am I supposed to tell people about my parents? Just tell the truth. Mom said that's simple enough. Her parents seem eccentric. Why? Ah, yes. That's true. They do care a lot. She cares too much what other people think. And I kind of like the author's courage in sort of calling herself out on it. You know what I'm saying? It paints a pretty clear picture of somebody who's, thinks a lot about what other people think of her. Which it is hard not to be concerned about what people think of you. It takes a long time to get over that. I mean, I'm sure there are some sterling individuals who are born with that trait, but most of us are concerned about what other people think of us. To a degree, right? Are you guys getting over it? Are you still really concerned? How concerned are you about what people think of you? Maddie, are you concerned about what people think of you? Can you see the chat, Maddie? I was really concerned when I was younger. No, not so much. I still am. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't, walk around singing in public, even if I feel like it necessarily, in my car. Yeah, I mean, I think that's built into a lot of us. What do you think, Mary? You think most people are concerned about what people think of them? Really? Orlando, I do not have a lot of experience with the Southwest either in Utah. I have a question in the minute and a half we have left to think about. You don't necessarily have to answer. I'll come back and ask you, who do you think is happier here, her mom or the author? Who is happier and what is your case? Using the evidence in the essay. Tell me who's happier with their lives. All right, we have less than a minute remaining, so I am going to go ahead and stop this session, end it, and we'll take our break and come back at 8:45. And I will see what you think. Who's happier in this scenario? See you in a minute. All right, 5.